The first spark came from a grainy photo, an unedited snapshot pulled from the depths of early 2000s nightlife. It showed a young Jamie Dornan stepping out of a velvet rope club in London, jacket half open, hair tousled, laughter frozen midair as a supermodel clung to his arm. The picture resurfaced on a fashion forum late at night, but by sunrise it had flooded every platform imaginable. Fans were stunned, comment sections exploded, and within hours, headlines screamed the same question. What really happened during Jamie Dornan's wild years, and who were the supermodels he spent those secret nights with? Back then, before he became a Hollywood leading man, Jamie was the magnetic it boy of the modeling world. Agencies called him the Golden Rogue. Designers adored him. Paparazzi chased him. And the nightlife? It swallowed him whole. Jamie wasn't just attending parties. He was the person magazines wrote about when describing the chaos, glamour, and seduction of the fashion scene. Every night felt like a movie. Champagne towers, underground clubs, private penthouses filled with flashing cameras, bitter perfume, and faces too beautiful to be real. Insiders say Jamie walked into that world with innocence, but it didn't last long. Supermodels gravitated toward him effortlessly. The way he leaned against a bar with quiet confidence. The way he spoke softly but carried an edge. The way he looked like trouble, but the kind worth chasing. He became a myth whispered at after-parties. The impossibly handsome Irish model with a dangerous charm and a habit of disappearing into the night with whoever caught his eye. And those nights? The ones nobody ever talked about? They were real. One former fashion assistant claimed that after runway shows in Milan, groups of models would gather on hotel rooftops, wrapped in designer coats, drinking wine straight from the bottle. Jamie was often there, laughing, flirting, and slipping away into shadowy corners with women whose faces graced global billboards. Some nights ended with nothing more than a shared cigarette and whispered secrets. Others ended differently. He wasn't reckless, the assistant said. Just young, overwhelmed, and adored by women who were adored by the world. But there was one story that resurfaced again and again. A private after-party held in Paris, the kind only the elite were invited to. The lights were dim, the music hypnotic, and Jamie arrived in a fitted black suit that made half the room stare. According to a model who attended, Jamie spent hours speaking quietly with one of the industry's biggest names, a supermodel so famous the world still knows her by a single name. They slipped away sometime after 3 a.m., leaving behind perfume trails and half-finished glasses of champagne. Nobody knew where they went. Nobody dared ask. Another source, a former driver for a major fashion house, revealed that Jamie often left events with women who traveled under aliases to avoid paparazzi. He wasn't chasing attention, the driver said. He was escaping it. The only people who could understand that were the models who lived in the same storm. That was the real core of Jamie's wild years, connection through chaos. Temporary companionship in a world built on illusions. Still, behind the glamour, there was a darker truth. Jamie later admitted in a rare interview that those years left him feeling hollow. I was surrounded by people constantly, he said, but somehow I felt lonelier than ever. The world saw a man living his best life. Inside, he felt like he was drifting, untethered, unsure, and desperately trying to understand who he was when the parties ended and the cameras went down. Yet what shocked fans most wasn't the partying. It was the revelation that one of the supermodel relationships wasn't a fling. It was something deeper, a romance hidden so well that even tabloids failed to uncover it. According to a close source, Jamie and this mystery supermodel shared a connection so intense it nearly derailed both their careers. They met in secret, exchanged letters, and even discussed stepping away from the spotlight together. But fame, schedules, and whispered jealousy ripped them apart before the world even knew they existed. And then came the twist that turned speculation into obsession. A former agent claimed that one supermodel, one very recognizable name, had tried to reconnect with Jamie years later, long after he had moved on. The agent said she told him, "Some nights stay with you forever." The internet nearly broke trying to guess who she was. As part 1 closes on this storm of secrets, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. Jamie Dornan's wild years were not just reckless nights and fleeting encounters. They were a maze of passion, confusion, and hidden relationships that shaped the man he would eventually become. And the question the world is now desperate to uncover is simple. Which supermodel was the one Jamie never truly got over? The fallout spread faster than anyone expected. Within minutes, fans and media outlets began dissecting every detail of Jamie Dornan's wild years, searching for clues about the supermodel who had shaped his past in ways the public never knew. Internet detectives resurfaced old paparazzi clips, runway interviews, and backstage photos that had long been forgotten. What began as curiosity turned into a global investigation, and soon the entire fashion world found itself pulled back into an era it thought had been buried. The truth was no longer sleeping, it was hungry. The first shockwave arrived when a globally famous supermodel posted a cryptic message online. She shared a blurry Polaroid of a rooftop party from nearly 20 years ago, where two silhouettes stood close enough to be unmistakable. Her caption read simply, "Some memories stay." Fans erupted instantly, convinced she was hinting at a secret history with Jamie. Whether intentional or not, she had ignited a wildfire. Moments later, another well-known model liked several posts about Jamie's wild years, adding fuel to the already raging speculation. Screenshots spread everywhere as fans compared dates, locations, and outfits to build timelines of who he could have been involved with. Each click, each post, each rumor tightened the net around Jamie's hidden past. People weren't just curious, they were obsessed. Yet insiders kept repeating the same mysterious phrase: only one of them truly mattered. A former fashion PR executive finally stepped forward with details that shifted the entire narrative. She claimed Jamie once confided in her about a supermodel who had changed the entire course of his early 20s. Their connection wasn't a fling but a deep, private bond built in stolen moments between runway shows and neon-lit after-parties. They met on rooftops, in tiny Paris apartments, in hotel hallways where they whispered about dreams and fears. For two people adored by the world, they found rare sanctuary in each other. But the love story didn't survive the pressure around it. According to the PR executive, the supermodel lived in constant fear of publicity destroying what they had. And Jamie, still navigating fame, worried he wasn't enough for the spotlight that surrounded her. Their breakup wasn't cruel, it was quiet, heartbreaking, and tinged with a sense of inevitability. They walked away not because they wanted to, but because they believed the world wouldn't let them stay. A former private driver added a new layer to the mystery when he anonymously shared his own memories. He recalled dropping Jamie and various models off at hidden apartments and private lounges. He said Jamie never acted like a star, he acted like someone trying to escape the noise. The only people who understood him, the driver said, were the ones who were lost in the same whirlwind. His account painted Jamie not as a reckless playboy, but as a young man clinging to any moment of authenticity he could find. Just as the internet reached peak speculation, an unreleased interview clip from nearly a decade earlier resurfaced. In it, Jamie was asked if people misunderstood his past. He smiled faintly and replied, "There were nights that shaped me, with people the world thinks they know." That single sentence reignited the frenzy. Fans replayed it thousands of times, convinced it held hidden emotional weight. It was the closest Jamie had ever come to acknowledging what truly happened. Speculation spiraled into chaos when a close source claimed that one supermodel had contacted Jamie years after their relationship ended. The source said she reached out during a vulnerable moment in her life, wondering if fate had given them a second chance. Jamie, however, was already committed to a new path and gently turned her away. Even so, the encounter reportedly left him shaken, as if a sealed chapter had suddenly reopened. Hollywood analysts and commentators weighed in next, noting how Jamie's silence only intensified the drama. He made no clarifications, no denials, no attempts to shift the narrative. Instead, he allowed the world to circle around the story unchecked, almost like he believed the truth, whatever it was, no longer belonged solely to him. His refusal to speak became an answer of its own, layered and enigmatic. Just when fans thought the mystery had reached its climax, a friend close to Jamie revealed something that sent shockwaves through the entire conversation. The friend insisted that one night from Jamie's past had never been discussed publicly, not even among his inner circle. That night changed him, the friend said. He doesn't talk about it because it still lives inside him. No further details were offered, leaving the world suspended in a suspenseful silence. As the dust settled, one realization became impossible to ignore. Jamie Dornan's wild years were far more than rumors and late-night parties. Hidden in those secret nights with supermodels were heartbreaks, crossroads, and memories powerful enough to echo decades later.